Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday Night Live Crafting. Michelle Grech here from statmichelle.com, coming to you from Melbourne, Australia. How are you all tonight? Everybody coping okay with all of this heat? I don't know if it started to cool down at all outside, but here in Melbourne it has been really hot today and predicted to be extremely hot for the next couple of days. So I'm already looking forward to the cool change that's going to be arriving over the weekend. So I'll just give everyone a few seconds to hop on. So if you're joining me live, pop into the comments and say hello. Let me know that you're here. If you're watching on the replay, thanks very much. I really appreciate you taking the time to go back and have a look at the replay. Hi Mel, how you going? So what's everybody been up to this weekend? Did we all do something really special for Valentine's yesterday? Hi Lynette, hi Deb. I have to say we're not a big Valentine's Day people in this house, although I know that my youngest son, he definitely celebrated Valentine's Day with his girlfriend, but I don't know, when we were younger we did it, but you know, now it's like, yeah, we wake up and we say happy Valentine's Day, and we might, you know, use it as an excuse to go out for dinner, but it's not a big celebration event here in this house. I have to say that whilst I've made heaps of Valentine's Day cards, I didn't actually give my husband one of them, so I know my son did come looking for one though for his girlfriend, so I was able to give him one of those. Hi Di, how you going? Yeah, so that was my Valentine's Day. So pop in the comments and let me know what you did. So if you celebrated Valentine's Day and what you might have done for the day. I had a fabulous weekend last weekend. I was lucky enough to be invited along to one of my downline's retreats that she was running down in Lock in Gippsland, and I went along with nothing to do, no involvement, just going along to fill a spot and be a guest, and I had the absolute best time. I got to craft for the whole weekend. I think I went to bed around 2 o'clock on Friday night, and about 12:30 I did flag a bit on Saturday night. We went out for dinner to the local wood-fired pizza and wine bar, and we had lots of crafting, lots of fun, lots of laughs. So I do have to say a big thanks to Sue for inviting me. I did have a really good time. And thanks to all of the ladies that were there. They were all absolutely fabulous. So the 3 Dies and Marika and Lynn, and who else did we have? Paulie and Dee. We had 3 Dies. So we had to have Die, Die, Die and Die, Die, Die. So, or Die 1, 2 and 3. We spent the whole weekend trying to work out how we would actually refer to the 3 Dies that were there. So if you called out, hey Die, at least somebody was going to answer, you know that. So this was down at the old Lock Hospital in Lock in Gippsland, and that's where I also run my winter creative escape. So for those of you who were at that last year, details for this year's one will be up soon, so look out for that. I plan to put those up before the weekend. So we're looking to have another fabulous time there soon. And yes, it was a wonderful weekend, wasn't it, Diane? Yes, Sue did really go to a lot of trouble. She calls it a no-frills camp, but it was definitely a frilly no-frills camp. We got lots of goodies, lots of treats, lots of samples from products from the Mini Catalogue. It was really, really nice. So that's what I did on the weekend, and I came back to my craft room, recharged, refreshed, full of ideas. So Tonight's card is actually, I have to give a shout out to Marika, one of the ladies who was away with us and one of the downline in my team for her idea for this. She had a card that she showed me using this fold, and I really loved it, and I thought I'll do that for my live on Wednesday night. So I don't know if Marika's on tonight, but I'm giving a shout out to her because this was inspired by a card that I saw her make. So I'm going to be using these products tonight. So this is one of the papers you can earn free during Sale-a-bration. So with a $90 purchase during Sale-a-bration, which I can't believe is nearly over, only 2 more weeks to go. So 28th of Feb is the last day that you can place an order to earn free products, and this is called the Favoured Flowers paper. Now, I think quite a few people I've spoken to, a few of my customers and some of my team have sort of said, oh, I'm not sure that it really grabs me, and maybe it can be a bit polarizing. Look, it's very bold. The black background, I absolutely love it. I love these really striking papers, striking flowers. They're bold colours and they really stand out on that black background, but maybe they're not for everybody. So anyway, I thought I would feature these tonight. So this is obviously the A side, very busy with lots and lots of flowers. I think coordinating colours are petal pink, calypso coral, fresh freesia, mossy meadow, blackberry bliss. So lots and lots of colours to work with there. And they do have a coordinating die. So I'll show that to you in a minute. So here's the B side, so the generic sort of patterns in the solid coordinating colours. And I think there's some really good patterns here for men or for boys. So these 2 green patterns here work really well for you know, adventure, outdoorsy, mountain bike riding, you know, motorbikes, those sorts of cards I think would work really well with those colours. And then we've got sort of some of the more feminine ones here. But yeah, I really love this paper, and it actually coordinates with the Fragrant Flowers stamp set, which is one of the stamp sets in the Mini Catalogue. And it's bundled with these dies here, the Fragrant Flower dies. And a couple of these dies will actually cut out flowers from the designer series paper. So you can actually, you don't have to fussy cut, although I did fussy cut the flowers I'll be using tonight because they were one of the ones that didn't have a die. But there's a couple of dies there which will cut out the really big flowers. And I don't think I've got a full flower in this pack for this die, but I think this one will cut, you know, this flower here if I had a full sheet of the paper. Obviously the rest of the flower is on the full 12 by 12 sheet. So it is a 12 by 12 paper. I've just cut these down to 6 by 6. And this little die here will cut out this flower here. So as well as that, those dies will also cut the images in the stamp set. And we've got a couple of really bold sentiments there and a nice big stitched label here for those sentiments. This die here is very interesting. It's actually a die that will emboss. So when you run that through on your cardstock, you'll actually get that sort of hive or hexagon sort of pattern embossed on your paper. So it doesn't actually doesn't cut the shape. It just embosses those shapes onto your paper. So let's get started with the card. We'll see if we can make it a quick one tonight. Sorry, my arm there underneath the camera. have to say I've got my iPad directly in front of me here so that I can see the live, so that I can make sure that, you know, I'm in camera and that I can respond to comments. But the comments, if I don't keep touching the screen, the comments disappear, so I can't actually see them. I have to keep touching the screen to refresh it. So if you keep seeing my arm popping underneath the camera, you'll know what that is. Okay, so I'm going to be using this design tonight. Well, let me actually bring in the card to show you. So this is the card here, and it's called a double gatefold card. So it's a great one to maximize the use of your designer series paper. So I'm trying to encourage all of my customers and my team to actually use up the beautiful DSP that they buy. I know we all have stashes of it, and we don't like to chop into it, but really that's what it's for. It's designed for us to chop into and use on our cards. So that's the card here, and it will stand up there like that. It's a bit hard to see under the camera, but so it's called a double gatefold, and that's what I'll be making tonight. So I've got a piece of the designer series paper here, and I've already cut that down to, it's the full 12 inches across, and it's 5.5 inches high. So it's almost half a sheet, and I'm going to be working in inches tonight, just because the paper's 12 by 12, and it's actually easier to work in inches. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer. I pop the paper in the long side, so landscape, and I'm just going to do a bit of scoring, and it's really simple measurements. You're going to score at 2 inches and at 4 inches, and then we're just going to flip it around and score at 2 and 4 from the other end as well. Or you could score 2, 4, 8 and 10. If you wanted to just keep traveling along, but it saves me having to open out my arm on the desk. I don't really have the space. So it's easy just to flip it around and score 2 and 4 from each end. So remember, you're scoring designer series paper, so you don't want to press too hard. And now I'm just going to pop it in portrait orientation, and I'm going to line up again at the 2-inch mark. This time I'm not going to do any cutting or scoring. What I'm going to do is just bring in my pencil, and I'm just going to make a little pencil mark in the channel at the 2-inch mark. So top and bottom. I know you can't really see me doing it at the bottom there. So here at the top and down here at the bottom, if you can see that under the camera, I've just made a little mark at the 2-inch point. And what I like to do, because I'm actually going now to be cutting from this score line here down to this 2-inch mark here. Sometimes it can be a little bit hard, especially on light paper. I know you can see that really well in the camera, I can see that. But sometimes when you put it down in your trimmer and you're trying to cut and line that up, it can be a bit hard to see that score line. So what I like to do is just put a little pencil mark just in the score line, just so that I can see it when I'm lining it up in my trimmer. We can easily rub those out later. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to cut off a triangle from the corner, so from that score line down to the 2-inch mark that we made down there. So we're just going to line that up in the trimmer. Line those 2 points up in the channel, and I'm just going to cut there, and we're going to just keep this piece because we're going to be using that on our card, and then we'll just cut off the other corner as well. Just make sure that you've got that lined up, and you just snip that off. Then we're done with the trimmer. So now we're just going to, I'm just going to erase those little pencil marks there off my paper. Pretty much that's the fold done. So now we're just going to fold on those score lines. So accordion fold, so fold in first and then back on itself. I'm just going to give that a nice, see, I haven't quite scored that perfectly, but I'll just give that a bit of a crease with my bone folder. And again, we're going to, where's my score line? Fold back in on ourselves again. And if you've scored, I've got a little bit, I think I might have just not quite been lined up on my trimmer for that, but they should meet in the middle when you score them properly. So those two pieces that we chopped off, we're actually going to pop those down here in the opposite corners to where you chop them off from. Although it doesn't really matter. So in this case, you could actually have this matches sort of this paper or the pattern in this part of the paper. You could have that diagonally opposite, or you could have it by turning it the other way. Because they're 2 inches by 2 inches, you can actually use them on the same side and have the patterns there. Whichever you prefer, it doesn't really matter. But you're flipping it over so it gives you that impression that the paper's actually folded, but you're actually just adhering those panels that you cut off up there. So we're just going to bring in my glue. So I'm going to just use my Tombow, and I'm actually going to bring in my silicone craft mat just so that I don't end up with glue all over my desk. Yeah, it is pretty paper, isn't it, Mel? I really love it, but like I said, I know that there's a few people have commented to me that they don't like it, and that's, you know, we don't all like everything. That's what makes us all different, right? If we all liked the same things exactly, it would all be pretty boring. So now we're just going to pop that just in the corner there. And we're going to pop this one in this corner. Now obviously if you had a directional pattern, you would need to keep an eye on that and make sure that you are lining it up so the pattern wasn't upside down. Okay, so really that's the basis of our card there. And now we're just going to go ahead and decorate. So you can see here that it's that it sort of looks like it's chopped off there, you know, on the edge, but that's actually just the way it is. And I'm going to show you another card later that I made where this edge is slightly different, and I'll show you how to do that. So now you can actually just leave it like that. You actually don't need to have anything else. You can decorate it and then just leave it as is, so that you can actually see the beautiful designer series paper on the back here. And you know, like most of our designer series paper is sturdy enough that that would actually be okay. And of course you're going to put a center panel inside so that you can write your message, and that sort of gives you enough stability for the card to be okay and to stand up. But I actually like to just put it on a card, on a backing. So this is just really a quarter sheet, so 10.5 by I think it's 14, it's actually a bit shorter than, because this is done in inches and that's 5.5. I think this is 14.4 by 10.5. So you know, you just cut a panel. I think it's a 1/4 sheet. You know, just cut it so that it fits with just a nice border around the edge. So I'm actually just going to cover up that that paper at the back, because I'm going to add a panel behind. So I just find it easier just to fold that panel back so that I can line it up, so that it's not sort of flapping in my face. Gone over just a bit. Oops, that wasn't very smart, was it? Let's do that again. Getting sticky glue on my fingers. Always when I work with Tombow, I end up with it on my fingers, no matter how hard I try not to. Okay. Right, so now I'm just going to create the focal point in the front, and because this is sort of like a diamond, I'm actually going to work with a diamond. So I've cut myself a stitched square using the largest square from the Stylish Shapes dies, which I think this ends up being 7 by 7 centimeters, and then I've just cut a Calypso Coral square that is 7.5 square, just to give it that bit of a border. And I'm going to use the Hello stamp out of the Fragrant Flowers stamp set. Oh, Inga, you're at the beach. Whereabouts? Which beach are you at? I know you've been away. So you're on your way home? Wish I was at the beach. Although I do love the beach, but I don't like the sand. So I don't really know how you can go to the beach without the sand. But I love the ocean, and I love being at the beach. I just hate having all of the sand. It gets into everything, and I really don't like that at all. I always feel gritty when I come away from the beach. So now I've just got the very fine sort of font that says friend. I'm just going to stamp that straight underneath the hello. And pretty much that's all the stamping I'm going to, no, I'm going to do one more bit of stamping, but that's pretty much all the stamping I'm going to do on the front of the card. Now I'm just going to cut out some flowers from the designer series paper. So I've already gone ahead and fussy cut one of them. So I fussy cut out this one and just a bit of the leaves from the edge of the paper. So don't ever waste those things at the edge, because you can always tuck them, use them on the edge of your card, or tuck them underneath other things to make, you know, to hide those edges. And I'm just going to use my die to cut out this flower here. So I'm just going to pop it on the paper and just tack it down with a bit of Scotch tape. And I'm just going to run that through the die cutting machine. I stamp and cut and emboss, so just give me a tick to do that. So see how easy was that? I didn't even have to fussy cut that one. And I do love the black, because it's on black paper. When you die cut it out, you get that nice black border around it. I do really like that. I think that's quite stunning. So let's go back to gluing this together. So I'm just going to put some Tombow on the back of that square. So let me know in the comments if this is a paper that you like, or if there's one. What's your favourite product from the Sale-a-bration catalogue at the moment? Is it the Dainty? Whoops, that was just one of my plates from my die cutting machine. Just excuse the banging and crashing there. Was it the Dainty? Was the Dainty Designs paper that I used a couple of weeks ago? There's the beautiful farm on the farm paper, or is it? I haven't quite got that right up there, but. So we're just going to adhere that in the centre, and of course remember we want our card to be able to open, so we're only going to adhere it on this left side, so we don't want any adhesive here on the right. So what I normally do is I know that I'm going to line up these 2 points in the centre opening, so I just go a little bit to the side of that. I was using you earlier. You know when you squeeze Tombow, you just all of a sudden it comes splurting out everywhere. I don't want that to happen. I think I might have got a bit of something stuck in the bottom of it. We didn't see. You end up with lots come pouring out. We don't want that. So just stay a little bit to the left of that centre line. Then we're just going to hold the card together, line those points up in the middle, and then just stick that down there. And if you've done it properly, you should have no adhesive on this side or this triangle that's going to overhang on that right hand side. It's sticky. So now it's just a matter of putting a couple of dimensionals on the back of that. Oh, Walkerville, Inga, that's lovely. I have friends recently who went down there and stayed in a B&B right on the beach. They said it was fabulous. I've never actually been to Walkerville, but it's definitely on my list because I want to go and stay at the place that my girlfriend rented. So the photos she showed me were absolutely spectacular. Okay, oops. That's just the top of the dimensional. So I'm just using minis here. It doesn't really matter whether you use minis or whether you use full-size ones. So I'm just going to pop that on there. And this one I'm going to pop over that, going to cover that leaf there. So that was one of the ones that was on the edge. So you can see it's got that straight edge. I'm only going to put the 3 dimensionals on this one because it's got some, it's going to sit over the top of that leaf. This is one of those cards that comes together super quick. I'm going to use up that beautiful DSP that you've got in your stash. There you go. And now I'm just going to take one of those, couple of those leaves. I think one of them will be enough. I'm just going to pop that one in there. So that's the front of our card almost done. All we need to do now is put some embellishments on it. Of course, we've got to have embellishments, got to have a bit of bling. As you know, I all love my bling. So I'm just using our basic champagne rhinestones. And I thought these ones coordinated pretty well with the paper. So I hope I can inspire you to actually like this paper if you don't like it. And if you do, then I hope I've given you some ideas on the ways that you can use it. Now we're just going to finish off the inside. So I've just got a basic white panel for the inside, and I'm just going to stamp a greeting on that. Now I've actually decided to go for a greeting from another one of our Sale-a-bration sets, the Thanks a Bunch. So that's the one that's got all the carrots, and I'm just going to use the There's No One Quite Like You. And I think that this font here is not dissimilar to this one here in the friend stamp from the Fragrant Flowers. So I think that works quite well together. And I'm just looking for what did I do with my Calypso Coral ink? Now that is just strange. I had it here before. There it is. I put it underneath my silicone craft mat. It was hiding from me. So I'm just going to stamp that just right there in the center. And let me just bring in a piece of grid paper here, because I've got this as the coordinating stamp. So like this flower here on the front, that I'm just going to stamp on the inside. Oh, look at that. Don't you hate it when that happens? I think I'm going to turn that over, stamp it again. I don't know where that little bit of ink came from. But, you know, that's why our cardstock has two sides, right? So when you make a mistake, you can just turn it over. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually just going to use my Stampin' Write markers. So not my blends, these are the Stampin' Write markers. And I'm going to add some ink directly to my stamp. So I'm going to colour the flower in Calypso Coral. Now when you're doing this technique, make sure that you always use your marker on its edge. Don't use it on its tip like that, or you will destroy the tip of your marker. And we don't want to do that because we want to be able to use it for other projects. Then I'm going to just use Mossy Meadow to colour the leaves. So this is a good technique if you want to, if you're using words, a word stamp, and you want to highlight a particular word in a different colour. Or like in this case where you want to colour the leaves and the flower a different colour. So once you've done that colouring, then you're just going to give it a bit of a huff with your breath, because the ink will have started to dry, so you want to reactivate that, and the moisture in your breath will do that. And hopefully you haven't eaten too much garlic and you'll have your stamp all shrivel up. Okay, so we just stamp that there in the corner. And just add that to the inside of our card. I don't see anyone's comments about what they're liking from Sale-a-bration. Do you not like anything at all? I'm tipping that there's a few of you out there who like the owls. I think they're pretty cute too. Just going to put that in the centre. And there you go. That's our card finished. So there's the two versions of the card, pretty close. Now I'm just going to bring in another card that I made using the same technique, but it's slightly different. So I'll leave this one here just to show you. So this is using the paper from the, also from Sale-a-bration. So this is the large paper stack. So it's a 12 by 12 pack where you get 48 sheets of paper. And it's one of the ones that's free with a $180 purchase. And I've done exactly the same thing here. And I've used the cute cat from the Best Day stamp set. That's also from our mini catalogue. But you'll notice a difference here. If you see this edge here on this card is straight, and this one is pointed, so it's like it's, you know, it's a full diamond or a triangle on, if you look at it on this side. So what I did, the difference that I did with this card to get that effect is when I marked my side panel to actually cut off this corner, I actually marked it at the halfway point. So in this card, I only came down 2 inches. And on this card, I think I came down 2 3/4 inches, which is half of 5.5, which is the total height of the pattern paper. So if you do it at the halfway point, when you cut off this piece and you put it down here, you will actually get a point there rather than a flat edge. So it's just a bit of a different way to cut your paper. And then I have another piece that I've cut here, which I haven't actually designed anything with yet, but I've actually cut my paper. So this is one where I've actually, instead of cutting from this corner down to the edge, I've cut from the 4-inch mark all the way down to the center point on this side. And when this one closes, I'm not actually going to put anything in this corner here. I'm just going to have it sit like that. So that's actually, it's got a deeper cut than this one here. I don't know whether you can see all this one. So this is from the 2-inch line down to the center mark, and this one's from the 4-inch line down to the center mark. And that will just give you, again, a bit of a different look than these cards here. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed those and that you'll be inspired to give them a try. Let me know if you do, and send me a pic so that I can see what you've been creating. Oh, thanks, Deb. I actually like that card too. Actually, when I made it, I thought, because this is Mango Melody, this colour here, and I find it actually really, really bright and not necessarily my colour. And when I tried, at first I put it on a Mango Melody card base, and it was just way too bright. So then I tried, I think this is Calypso Coral, I tried that as well, and I was like, yeah, that doesn't really work. And then had a piece of black lying on my desk from an earlier project. Thought, oh, maybe that will work. And I actually really like how it toned down those colours a little bit, and then I was able to use the black for the sentiment and just did a bit of white embossing on that. So also able to accent it with some of the black embellishments there. So there you go. Hope you all enjoyed that, and a big thanks and shout out to Marika for teaching me or showing me that fold on the weekend. And I hope that she watches the replay. I haven't seen her on tonight, but hopefully she'll watch the replay and enjoy the fact that she was able to inspire me to make some cards. Okay, well, I hope you all have a good rest of the week, and it's not too hot for you all, and you're able to maybe sit under the aircon or stay out of the heat. Look after yourselves, stay hydrated, and have a good weekend. and I will see you all again next Wednesday, same time, same place. And yeah, with something else. Not sure what I'm going to do next week, but if you've got any ideas, always shoot me a message and let me know if there's something you'd like me to demonstrate or a technique that you'd like me to show. That will help me out in thinking up what I'm going to do. Sometimes I'm scrabbling around for ideas about what I can actually show you. So have a great week, and thanks for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. Like and share my video, and if you've got any other crafty friends out there you think might enjoy it, and I'll see you all again next week. Okay, bye bye.